Question 1. A Scrum team is consistently failing to meet its sprint commitments, leading to stakeholder dissatisfaction. As the Scrum Master, what is the most appropriate action to address this issue? A. Assign more tasks to individual team members to increase accountability. B. Extend the sprint duration until all committed work is completed. C. Facilitate a deeper discussion during the sprint retrospective to identify root causes and potential improvements. D. Escalate the issue to senior management to request additional resources for the team. Answer: C. Facilitate a deeper discussion during the sprint retrospective to identify root causes and potential improvements. The Scrum Master's role is to facilitate the Scrum process and help the team improve. When a Scrum team consistently fails to meet commitments, the most effective approach is to address the underlying issues collaboratively within the team, which is the primary purpose of the sprint retrospective. This event provides a dedicated forum for the team to inspect its past sprint and adapt its processes, tools, and relationships to improve effectiveness. For instance, the team might discover that their sprint planning is too optimistic, or they have too many interruptions. By focusing on root causes, the team can self-organize solutions and enhance their predictive capabilities for future sprints. Always remember that retrospectives are crucial for continuous improvement and team self-organization in Agile. Question 2. During a sprint, a key stakeholder approaches the development team directly with a new, urgent feature request that was not part of the current sprint backlog. What should the development team do? A. Stop their current work to immediately implement the new feature, as it is urgent. B. Inform the stakeholder that new requests must be added to the product backlog for the product owner to prioritize. C. Add the new feature to the sprint backlog and reprioritize existing sprint backlog items without informing the product owner. D. Work on the new feature in parallel with their existing sprint commitments, potentially extending the sprint. Answer: B. Inform the stakeholder that new requests must be added to the product backlog for the product owner to prioritize. In Scrum, the product owner is the sole person responsible for managing the product backlog, including its content, ordering, and availability to stakeholders. The development team's focus during a sprint is to deliver the sprint backlog, and direct new requests from stakeholders can disrupt the sprint goal and the team's flow. Therefore, the development team should direct the stakeholder to the product owner, who can then assess the new request's value, add it to the product backlog, and prioritize it for a future sprint. This process ensures that changes are managed systematically and align with the product vision. Remember, protecting the sprint goal from outside interference is vital for team focus and predictable delivery. Question 3. A project team is practicing Agile and has just completed a sprint. What is the primary purpose of the sprint review event? A. To plan the work to be performed in the upcoming sprint. B. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. C. To discuss lessons learned and identify process improvements for the next sprint. D. To allow the development team to demonstrate their individual contributions. Answer: B. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog if needed. The sprint review is a key event in Scrum where the Scrum team and stakeholders collaborate about what was done in the sprint and what has changed in their environment. The team demonstrates the done increment, and they discuss progress toward the product goal. This collaborative session is crucial for inspecting the product increment and making necessary adaptations to the product backlog, ensuring the product evolves based on feedback and market changes. For example, if a new feature developed isn't meeting user needs, the product owner might reprioritize or refine future backlog items. The sprint review helps ensure transparency and provides an opportunity to revise the product roadmap as needed. Question 4. In an Agile project, what is the primary purpose of a definition of done, DoD? A. To define the scope and requirements for the entire project up front. B. To establish the sprint goal for each iteration. C. To create a shared understanding of what it means for work to be complete and ready for release. D. To outline the specific tasks that each team member must complete during a sprint. Answer: C. To create a shared understanding of what it means for work to be complete and ready for release. The definition of done, DOD, is a formal description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures required for the product. It provides a shared understanding within the Scrum team of what it means for work to be done, ensuring transparency and consistency in the quality of the product increment. For example, a DOD might include items like code reviewed, unit tests passed, integrated, and user documentation updated. This clarity helps prevent misunderstandings, ensures the team is building a potentially shippable increment, and aligns expectations with stakeholders regarding release readiness. Having a clear DOD helps avoid ambiguity and ensures the quality bar is consistently met. Question 5. A large organization is transitioning to Agile and wants to ensure that all relevant teams are aligned and that dependencies are managed effectively across multiple Scrum teams working on the same product. Which Scaled Agile Framework (SAFe) concept is designed to address this challenge? A. Daily Scrum. B. Release Train Engineer (RTE). C. Program Increment (PI) Planning. D. Iteration Retrospective. Answer: C. Program Increment (PI) Planning. Program Increment (PI) Planning is a cornerstone event in the Scaled Agile Framework (SAFe), designed to align multiple Agile teams to a shared mission and vision. It's a face-to-face planning event, typically 2 to 3 days, where all teams on an Agile release train, ART, come together to align on a shared vision, create their sprint plans, identify dependencies, and resolve risks for the upcoming program increment. For instance, if Team A needs an API from Team B, PI planning ensures this dependency is identified and planned for collaboratively. This comprehensive planning helps manage complex interdependencies and ensures that large-scale development efforts are synchronized and focused on delivering value together. Question 6. What is the primary focus of the product owner role in an Agile project? A. Facilitating Scrum events and removing impediments for the development team. B. Managing the project budget and timeline. C. Maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. D. Conducting code reviews and ensuring technical quality. Answer: C. Maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. The product owner is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. This involves effectively managing the product backlog, which includes clearly expressing product backlog items, ordering them to best achieve goals and missions, and ensuring the product backlog is transparent, visible, and understood. For example, a product owner might prioritize features that address critical user pain points or generate the highest revenue. Their focus is on ensuring the team builds the right product and that it delivers the most business value. Question 7. An Agile team has identified a recurring technical issue that slows down their development process. What is the most appropriate Agile artifact or event to capture and address this issue systematically? A. Product backlog. B. Sprint review. C. Sprint retrospective. D. Daily Scrum. Answer: C. Sprint retrospective. The Sprint retrospective is a formal opportunity for the Scrum team to inspect itself and create a plan for improvements to be enacted during the next sprint. When a recurring technical issue impacts the team's efficiency, the retrospective is the ideal forum to discuss the problem, identify its root causes, and commit to specific actions to mitigate or resolve it in future sprints. For instance, if the team consistently struggles with integration testing, they might decide in the retrospective to invest time in automating more tests. It's a dedicated time for continuous process improvement and adaptation. Question 8. In an Agile project, how should progress typically be measured and communicated to stakeholders? A. By comparing actual costs to the planned budget using earned value management. B. Through the percentage completion of tasks assigned to individual team members. C. By demonstrating working software and using metrics like velocity, burn-down charts, or burn-up charts. D. By adherence to the initial project schedule baseline. Answer: C. By demonstrating working software and using metrics like velocity, burn-down charts, or burn-up charts. Agile projects prioritize the delivery of working software or valuable increments as the primary measure of progress. Instead of relying on traditional metrics like task completion percentages or adherence to a fixed schedule, Agile teams use tools like burn-down charts, showing work remaining, burn-up charts, showing work completed, and velocity, the amount of work a team can complete in a sprint, to track and communicate progress. For example, showing a functional new feature at a sprint review is far more tangible than just reporting that 80% of design tasks are complete. This approach ensures transparency and provides stakeholders with concrete evidence of value delivered. Question 9. What is the primary benefit of cross-functional teams in Agile? A. They allow for easier individual performance appraisals. B. They reduce the need for external specialists. C. They possess all the skills necessary to deliver a product increment without relying on others outside the team. D. They streamline communication with external stakeholders. Answer: C. They possess all the skills necessary to deliver a product increment without relying on others outside the team. A core principle of Agile, particularly Scrum, is the use of cross-functional teams. This means the team collectively possesses all the necessary skills, such as analysis, design, development, testing, and deployment, to create a product increment from beginning to end without relying on external departments or individuals for critical path work. For example, a single team might include developers, testers, and UX designers, enabling them to complete user stories independently. This self-sufficiency reduces handoffs, improves communication within the team, and accelerates the delivery of value. Question 10. A Scrum team finds that external dependencies are frequently disrupting their sprint and making it difficult to achieve their sprint goal. What is the product owner's primary responsibility in addressing this issue? A. Reworking the sprint backlog to remove all dependent items. B. Directly engaging with the external teams to resolve the dependencies. C. Ensuring dependent items are appropriately prioritized and communicated in the product backlog, and working with stakeholders to resolve external blockers. D. Delegating the resolution of dependencies entirely to the development team. Answer: C. Ensuring dependent items are appropriately prioritized and communicated in the product backlog, and working with stakeholders to resolve external blockers. While the development team manages its internal dependencies, external dependencies that impact the product backlog and sprint goal fall under the product owner's accountability. The product owner is responsible for ensuring the product backlog is ordered in a way that minimizes external dependencies where possible, and for communicating these dependencies to relevant stakeholders. They then collaborate with these stakeholders to resolve the external blockers. For example, if a feature depends on a specific API from another department, the product owner would work with that department's representative to align schedules and ensure the API is delivered in time. This ensures external factors impacting value delivery are proactively managed. Question 11. Which Agile principle emphasizes delivering value frequently and in small increments? A. Simplicity, the art of maximizing the amount of work not done, is essential. B. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. C. Build projects around motivated individuals. D. Working software is the primary measure of progress. Answer: B. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. The Agile Manifesto states, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. This principle underpins the iterative and incremental nature of Agile development. It emphasizes delivering working software or valuable increments frequently rather than waiting for a big bang release. For instance, instead of delivering a complete system in 1 year, an Agile team might deliver usable features every few weeks. This approach allows for rapid feedback, reduces risk, and ensures that the customer gets value sooner and more consistently. Question 12. A project is using a Kanban approach. A new, high-priority request comes in. What is the most appropriate way to incorporate this into the existing workflow? A. Add it to the Done column immediately, assuming it's urgent. B. Add it to the To-Do column and wait for the current work in progress to finish before starting it. C. Pull it into the workflow if there is capacity, potentially pausing less critical work to maintain work in progress, WIP, limits. D. Increase the work in progress, WIP, limit to accommodate the new request without interrupting current tasks. Answer: C. Pull it into the workflow if there is capacity, potentially pausing less critical work to maintain work in progress, WIP, limits. In Kanban, the flow of work is managed by visualizing work, limiting work in progress, WIP, and pulling work through the system as capacity becomes available. When a high-priority request arrives, the Kanban principle of pulling work means that new work is only started when there's an available slot in the workflow, respecting the WIP limits. If the new request is truly high priority, it might necessitate pausing or swapping out an existing, lower priority item to free up a slot, rather than simply increasing WIP, which can lead to inefficiencies. This ensures focus and smooth flow. For example, if the In Progress column has a WIP limit of 3, and a new urgent item arrives, one of the 3 current items might be temporarily suspended to make way for the new one. Question 13. A project team is working in an Agile environment and struggling with maintaining consistent quality in their deliverables. What concept should the Scrum Master encourage the team to reinforce or improve? A. Velocity tracking. B. Sprint planning. C. Definition of done. D. Product backlog refinement. Answer: C. Definition of done. The definition of done, DoD, establishes the quality standards and criteria that all product backlog items must meet to be considered done and potentially releasable. If a team is struggling with consistent quality, it often points to an unclear or insufficient DoD. By reinforcing and potentially improving the DoD, the team can ensure that every increment produced adheres to a predefined level of quality, including necessary testing, code reviews, and documentation. For instance, if bugs are frequently found post-sprint, the team might add all acceptance tests passed to their DoD. A strong DoD is crucial for building quality in, not testing it in later. Question 14. What is the role of a servant leader in an Agile context? A. To dictate tasks and manage individual performance of team members. B. To facilitate team collaboration, remove impediments, and empower the team. C. To control the project budget and timeline strictly. D. To represent the customer's interests and prioritize the product backlog. Answer: B. To facilitate team collaboration, remove impediments, and empower the team. A servant leader, often embodied by the Scrum Master, focuses on serving the needs of the team rather than being served. This involves fostering self-organization, empowering team members, coaching them, and diligently working to remove any impediments that hinder their progress. For example, if a team member is blocked by a software license issue, a servant leader would work to resolve that for them. This leadership style promotes a healthy, productive environment where the team feels supported and can deliver their best work effectively. Question 15. A project is using an agile approach, and the team is struggling with frequent changes to requirements that come in mid-sprint. How should the product owner best address this challenge? A. Refuse to accept any changes once a sprint has started. B. Incorporate all changes immediately, even if it jeopardizes the sprint goal. C. Communicate the importance of the sprint goal and funnel all new requests into the product backlog for prioritization in future sprints. D. Request the development team to work overtime to accommodate the new changes. Answer: C. Communicate the importance of the sprint goal and funnel all new requests into the product backlog for prioritization in future sprints. While Agile embraces change, it manages it within the framework of sprints to maintain focus and predictability. The product owner's role is to protect the sprint goal once it's set. They should clearly communicate to stakeholders that new requests are welcome but will be added to the product backlog, where they can be properly prioritized against other work for future sprints. This ensures that the development team can focus on completing the agreed-upon sprint goal without disruption, while still acknowledging and preparing for evolving needs. For example, if a stakeholder requests a new report mid-sprint, the product owner would add it to the product backlog to be considered in the next sprint planning. Question 16. In an Agile project, what is the primary purpose of the daily Scrum? A. To report individual progress to the Scrum Master. B. To inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as necessary. C. To resolve complex technical issues and make design decisions. D. To prioritize upcoming product backlog items with the product owner. Answer: B. To inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as necessary. The daily Scrum is a 15-minute time-boxed event for the development team to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as necessary. It is a daily planning meeting for the development team, where they discuss what they did yesterday, what they will do today, and any impediments. For instance, if a team member completed a task faster than expected, they might offer to help a teammate struggling with another item. This self-organizing synchronization helps the team track progress, identify potential issues early, and coordinate their efforts to maximize the chances of meeting the sprint goal. Question 17. An Agile team has observed that their velocity is inconsistent from sprint to sprint. Which of the following is the most likely cause of this fluctuation? A. The team is not performing sprint retrospectives regularly. B. The product owner is not adequately refining the product backlog. C. The definition of done, DoD, is too strict. D. External impediments or changes in team composition/availability are impacting focus. Answer: D. External impediments or changes in team composition/availability are impacting focus. Inconsistent velocity often indicates underlying issues that affect the team's ability to complete work predictably. While internal process issues can play a role, external impediments, like waiting on another team, unclear requirements from stakeholders outside the team, or changes in team composition, new members, members leaving, vacations, sick leave, directly impact the team's capacity and focus. For example, if half the team is on vacation for a sprint, their velocity will naturally drop. The Scrum Master and team should identify these external factors to understand and mitigate their impact on sprint delivery. Question 18. What is the main objective of using user stories in Agile projects? A. To provide detailed, comprehensive documentation for developers. B. To define technical specifications for system architecture. C. To represent a small, valuable piece of functionality from the end user's perspective. D. To serve as formal contracts between the project team and stakeholders. Answer: C. To represent a small, valuable piece of functionality from the end user's perspective. User stories are a common way to express product backlog items in Agile, particularly in Scrum. Their main objective is to describe a desired piece of functionality from the perspective of the end user or customer, focusing on the value it delivers. They typically follow the format, as a type of user, I want, some goal, so that, some reason/benefit. For instance, as a customer, I want to track my order so that I know when it will arrive. This helps the team understand the user's needs and build features that truly provide value. Question 19. A new product owner has joined an existing Agile project. What is the most important initial step they should take to ensure effective leadership of the product? A. Immediately reprioritize the entire product backlog based on their personal vision. B. Conduct a comprehensive audit of the development team's individual performance. C. Collaborate with stakeholders, the Scrum Master, and the development team to understand the product vision, current product backlog, and stakeholder needs. D. Freeze all current development work until a new, detailed project plan is created. Answer: C. Collaborate with stakeholders, the Scrum Master, and the development team to understand the product vision, current product backlog, and stakeholder needs. A new product owner's first priority should be to gain a deep understanding of the product context and existing agreements. This involves extensive collaboration with key stakeholders to grasp their needs and the product vision, working with the Scrum Master to understand the team's dynamics and process, and engaging with the development team to comprehend the current state of the product backlog and technical considerations. For example, they might hold discovery sessions with key users and review past sprint reviews. This collaborative approach ensures informed decision-making and builds trust, rather than making abrupt changes. Question 20. When developing an Agile project charter, what element is typically included that sets the stage for the project's Agile approach? A. Detailed resource allocation for all project phases. B. Fixed scope and a comprehensive list of all requirements. C. A brief statement of the project vision and mission, often including desired business value and an understanding of the product's fit. D. A definitive baseline schedule with milestones for every deliverable. Answer: C. A brief statement of the project vision and mission, often including desired business value and an understanding of the product's fit. An Agile project charter is a concise document that provides high-level guidance for an Agile project. Unlike traditional charters with fixed scope and detailed schedules, an Agile charter emphasizes the project's vision, mission, and the business value it aims to deliver. It often includes elements like the product vision statement, success criteria, and initial assumptions. For example, it might state, to develop a user-friendly mobile banking app that enhances customer engagement and reduces call center volume. This provides a shared understanding of the project's why and allows the team to adapt the what and how iteratively. Question 21. A Scrum team has completed its sprint and is preparing for the sprint review. However, some items committed to in the sprint backlog are not fully done according to the definition of done. What should the team do regarding these incomplete items at the sprint review? A. Present them as almost done work to show progress. B. Remove them from the sprint backlog and add them back to the product backlog for future consideration. C. Work extra hours before the review to quickly complete them. D. Present only the done items and explain why the other items were not completed. Answer: D. Present only the done items and explain why the other items were not completed. In a sprint review, only items that fully meet the definition of done should be presented as part of eventually shippable increment. Any work not meeting the DoD is considered incomplete and does not form part of the official increment. The team should transparently explain why certain items were not completed during the sprint, e.g., unexpected complexity, impediments, and these items should be returned to the product backlog for reprioritization by the product owner. Forcing incomplete work into the review or working extra hours to hastily finish them compromises quality and the integrity of the sprint. Question 22. Which of the following best describes the concept of servant leadership in an agile environment? A. The leader makes all decisions and directs the team's tasks. B. The leader manages the team's individual performance and conducts performance reviews. C. The leader focuses on helping the team grow, removing impediments, and fostering a collaborative environment. D. The leader serves as a technical expert, guiding all technical decisions. Answer: C. The leader focuses on helping the team grow, removing impediments, and fostering a collaborative environment. Servant leadership in Agile is a style where the leader's primary goal is to serve their team members, enabling them to be more effective and productive. This means actively listening to their needs, coaching them, advocating for them, and tirelessly working to remove obstacles or impediments that prevent them from delivering value. For instance, a Scrum Master embodies servant leadership by protecting the team from distractions and facilitating their self-organization. This approach fosters a trusting and empowering environment where the team can thrive. Question 23. An Agile team discovers a significant risk that could severely impact their ability to deliver the next increment. What is the most appropriate Agile approach to managing this risk? A. Create a detailed risk mitigation plan and submit it to senior management for approval. B. Ignore the risk and focus on delivering committed features, hoping it won't materialize. C. Discuss the risk immediately with the relevant stakeholders and integrate risk mitigation or response activities into the sprint backlog or future product backlog items. D. Hold a separate, formal risk review meeting outside of the regular Agile events. Answer: C. Discuss the risk immediately with the relevant stakeholders and integrate risk mitigation or response activities into the sprint backlog or future product backlog items. Agile teams integrate risk management into their ongoing activities rather than treating it as a separate, heavy process. When a significant risk is identified, the team should promptly discuss it with relevant stakeholders, including the product owner, to assess its impact and determine appropriate responses. These responses, which could be mitigation actions, contingency plans, or even changing the product roadmap, are then prioritized and incorporated into the product backlog or immediately into the current sprint backlog if critical. For example, if a third-party API is unstable, the team might add a task to research alternative APIs or build a fallback mechanism. This ensures that risk management is continuous and value-driven. Question 24. What is the primary purpose of a spike in an Agile context? A. To perform extensive upfront design and architecture for the entire project. B. To break down large user stories into smaller, manageable tasks. C. To conduct a short, time-boxed research or exploration activity to gain knowledge or reduce uncertainty. D. To fix high-priority bugs that emerge during a sprint. Answer: C. To conduct a short, time-boxed research or exploration activity to gain knowledge or reduce uncertainty. A spike in Agile, often defined as a specific type of user story, is a short, time-boxed activity undertaken to research, investigate, or explore a technical or functional unknown. Its purpose is to gain necessary knowledge or reduce uncertainty, enabling the team to estimate or proceed with future work more confidently. For example, a team might use a spike to evaluate a new technology or understand the feasibility of integrating with a legacy system. This allows the team to learn just enough, just in time, to make informed decisions without over-investing in upfront design. Question 25. An Agile team is struggling with frequent interruptions and distractions, impacting their focus during the sprint. As the Scrum Master, what is the best way to address this impediment? A. Advise the team to work longer hours to compensate for lost time. B. Implement a strict, no talking, policy during work hours. C. Shield the development team from external interference and coach stakeholders on how to interact with the team through the product owner. D. Assign a dedicated team member to manage all external communications. Answer: C. Shield the development team from external interference and coach stakeholders on how to interact with the team through the product owner. A key responsibility of the Scrum Master is to protect the development team from external distractions and impediments. When frequent interruptions occur, the Scrum Master should act as a servant leader, working to create a conducive environment for the team to focus on their sprint goal. This involves coaching stakeholders on the appropriate channels for communication, e.g., through the product owner for new requests, attending sprint reviews for feedback, and helping the team establish boundaries. For instance, the Scrum Master might arrange for a "do not disturb" time or room for the team. This allows the team to maintain focus and maximize productivity.